It is the Mosley Show. Welcome inside the studio. As here we are, Monday. Man, it's been big. It's been a huge weekend. March Madness. Baylor women sadly have exited stage left. The games yesterday, there were a lot of fun ones. There was some stuff Saturday we've got to react to. There could be an unbelievable coaching career coming to an end. And no, I'm not talking about Hubert Davis. I'm not talking about Hubert at UNC, although Larry Brown ran to his defense. I did notice that. The great former Tar Heel, Larry Brown, the coach, went in Hubert's corner. We also have Kevin Hoosier Hall with me as always. Kevin, there was a story that I think grabbed everybody's attention. There he is. Kev, supporting those Hoosiers, even though they did not join us in any postseason tournament, and they turned down the right to play in the.
We'll always have football. Oh, that's odd to say.
Just lean on that. Lean on that. But hey, your Big Ten classmates, they're rolling. They're rolling in this tournament, and 3 Big 12 teams left in the Sweet 16. One ACC team. Oh my gosh. It's almost too funny to even bring up.
How many? It's like 7 Big Ten teams? There's so many that some of them actually have to play each other in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that Nebraska. Whoa, that next matchup. And my thing is, I got to say, Kevin, this Nebraska fan, I mean, I'm not, okay, yes, I'm a child of the SWC, but I know enough about my Big 8 history and know about the great Osborne and the great run that they've had at Nebraska and how great their fans are. I get it. But to pour themselves into a sport where they've largely done nothing, and when I don't even have to say largely, I should just say they've done nothing. They had not won an NCAA tournament game ever, and now they sit in the Sweet 16. And, Kevin, I got to just kudos to those fans. Part of it is just probably desperation over not being good at football for so long, having a great fan base, but nowhere. They're great at supporting women's sports. They're great. They're really good at volleyball, and the fans get behind them. And I love fan bases that are behind everything. Everything. You know what, Baylor, we kind of try to think of ourselves like that, but we get behind the things we're good. When football's great, the fans are there. When men's basketball is great, they're there. When women's basketball is great, oh, don't bring that up again. All right, Kev, let's at least hit it quick, and then we can move on to more fun stuff. Oh, and yesterday, by the way, I went to the Baylor Pro Day, Baylor Football Pro Day. So I was missing some of the basketball, but then I got locked back in for Kansas and St. John's, and last night late Texas Tech, and all these other great finishes. And I was very much into the end of the Florida Iowa game. And man, that pitted 2 coaches who were, I'm sorry, Kevin, with all the coffee I've had and all the excitement that I have to start today's show, I cannot. Please fix this before we get our big time guest on, because here we go. Come on down at 1:30, because this is okay. There we go. I've got one of these cameras, and I know there's a way to calm it down permanently, but I kind of like the tracking device a little bit, but if I get too active, it gets a little carried away. Let's just pretend like we're starting at 1:08. Let's take off the Blair Witch Project portion of this show. Kev, Baylor Pro Day yesterday. Scouts from all 32 teams were represented. And I will just say that the Cowboys sent their tight ends coach, Lunda Wells, down there. Good guy, exciting, like just a really emotional coach. I enjoy kind of being around him. And man, he spent his entire time with Baylor tight end Michael Trigg. Now, Michael didn't totally look like himself. There were other players who had better pro days. I promise you that. He didn't jump very well. He certainly, when he got down there around the goal line and was in the red zone throws that Sawyer was making, I did see him kind of look like himself a little bit. But I would not say we saw Michael at his best. Apparently, he tweaked a hamstring recently. Josh Cameron, and I love his family. We had Josh Cameron on recently. He's still not quite right with a calf strain. So he's going to hold off, and they're going to do a private thing with him. I don't know if I'll get to attend this or not. Kev, I mean, you would hope they'd say, hey, Mosley, come to our little private gathering. I mean, we are like really close friends now with the Cameron family. Hello, Mrs. Cameron. Mr. Cameron. I love Mr. Cameron had like a real cool first name, like a different first name. And I meant to write that down, but I was meeting him and could not have been nicer. Like, it's just, Kev, sometimes you see an unbelievable kid, you don't really know what his background is. Sometimes you meet an unbelievable kid and then meet the family, and you're like, oh, okay, this makes total sense. Not that you don't give the kid credit for being awesome, but the Cameron family, wow.
Gaius. His last name is Gaius.
His first name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gaius. I love it. I love the name. And I love the guy. He's not a big, a lot of like Trigg's dad is what you'd expect. Big, strapping. It's like, okay, this is Michael Trigg's dad. Gaius, not a big dude. Now Josh's mom has that athletic. You could tell she was very athletic. And Gaius probably had speed and everything, but he does not strike me as like some kind of big, huge former college athlete. Wow, what a family. What a family. And cool thing is, Kev, I kind of went back into Mosley, my old NFL mode. And of course, Smokey was there too. And we were both in our kind of mode of, oh, Kevin, I was securing. I mean, you can't even believe how many numbers and everything I was securing for us. Like Omar Agbedion threw up 31 reps of 225 pounds. He was awesome. And what a great guy. It's funny, you cover this team, you're just not around the players that often. You may talk to them occasionally or, as a group, but you don't really get any one-on-ones. And then all of a sudden you meet these guys and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is like this. I mean, I knew Omar was a great player, but he is a fabulous guy. And then Cole Wilson, Kevin, just put on a show. He was running like a 4.35, jumped 38 and a half inches vertical, and was mad because he thought he could do 40. Now, I want everybody to know this. At 1:30, we're going to have this unbelievable national story. Jaffer Murphy from UTSA. And this happened last Wednesday, but man, Adam Schefter and others started putting this out there, and it's just gotten, the NFL put it out today. It's gotten a tremendous amount of burn. So, Kev, I have to admit, I thought Jaffer was going to have such national request that it would almost be like, Baylor's guy hit the grand slams, and I'm like, well, this is the huge Baylor show. Let's get Mr. Grand Slam. He hit 3 in one game on, and I'm told, well, sorry, his dance card is too full. Sorry, Mosley. I called down to UTSA, Kevin, and to their credit, wow. And again, nothing against Baylor. My gosh, that was a huge story in college baseball. And I get it. I was a little late to that party, so it's not anybody's fault. All right. But by the time I put in my request, Kev, it was like, sorry. I mean, the Hall of Fame's calling and all of that. So I kind of moved on to whatever's next. With this story, this kid has a 45-inch vertical too. And I think he actually had a 4.47 in one of his runs. Anyway, he kicked a 70-yard field goal. This is Kevin, who wanted the Super Bowl MVP to be the Seahawks kicker. This is his dream story. This player that, the NFL could try to figure out, like, what kind of weapon is he? Well, Kevin, I called down to UTSA yesterday. Actually worked a little bit ahead. I saw this breaking, and I saw Schefter put something out, and I'm like, I'm going to just check with him. Kevin, they made, and I know the morning news and others were going to talk to him today. They just said, when do you need him? I said, well, 1:30 would be good. We got you. We got you. Now, it helps a little bit, Kev, that one of my good friends is the deputy AD down there. His name is Kurt Potcotter. He used to be at SMU, and he's moved down to San Antonio. That did not hurt our cause, but still very impressive, Kevin, that the UTSA folks were just like, Kyle Stevens and his gang were just like, what can we do for you? I love that. I had the same experience, Kevin, when I think it was last year, UTSA in baseball beat mighty University of Texas and in baseball. And we got Pat Hallmark, the coach down there at UTSA. Always good to get some birds up going. All right. That's where the Baylor football SID, Brent Ingram, that's where he came from, UTSA. All right. So very excited to have Jaffer Murphy on with us. Kev, that's coming up in about a little less than 15 minutes away from that. Okay, Kev. I don't know if you have any pictures. You may just want to put a crying emoji up. Baylor got run out of the building yesterday at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Baylor women played Duke for the right to go to the Sweet 16. I know it's tough to go into their place. I know all these things to be true. I would just say second time in the last few weeks that they've had to go up against like a ranked team. It was TCU, then it was Duke. They beat Duke earlier in the season. Kevin, we're all kind of at Baylor Pro Day, but we're monitoring how Baylor doing, how the Baylor women do it, what's going on. Kev, it was like 36-15 at halftime. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing, just to not be able to score, not be able to find anything. And it's a very, very frustrating thing. Now, you might say, well, they went to the tournament. The Baylor men did not. That's true. That's true. Way rather be going to the tournament than going to the Crown. I mean, I'm all of those things are true, but it's very frustrating to not even be competitive. There, Kevin. I thought Kevin was going to spare us. I thought he was holding off on the pictures just so I wouldn't just to save us with the tears.
I tried to find a picture that would define what happened there.
Go back to that. What do we think's happening here? Like a Baylor player trying to shoot the ball and turning it over? I don't know. Kev, the point guard, the two great guards for the Bears combined once again for like 11 turnovers. I wish I could say that was unusual. It's not. The team had 1 million turnovers in the first half. It's not good. It's not good. We love Nikki. Nikki comes on with us a lot. And, I think she'll go back to the drawing board. I mean, I think some of the questions that need to be asked are like, why did Bugs and Fauntleroy, two really good players in this program. Why did they not get better this year? What happened? Like, why Fauntleroy, based on what she had done in the past, I hate it because I like her and she's a great representative of Baylor and she's still an extremely good defensive player. From an offensive perspective, just flatline, had a horrible season. There's no other way to say it. Bugs just didn't quite emerge into what it looked like she was headed. It looked like she was going to become a great all-around offensive and defensive player. Didn't happen. So good career. I mean, I hate to see him go, but, I think the question needs to be asked. Why did they not get better? Those were not good senior years for either one of them. I mean, I guess Bugs, numbers-wise, at least from a rebounding standpoint, I could maybe make a case for her. Fauntleroy just went in the tank. Didn't really have a big. They got a three-headed monster of their down low, and Abraham and Kyla Nelms, they actually improved and did some nice things this season. Talia, I don't know what happened. Had a great season, all Big 12 2 weeks ago. I mean, I don't know what you want to blame it on. Ramadan? I don't think so. Just went away. Just offensive game. Couldn't shoot. Couldn't make anything. Same way against Duke. So gotta hit on some of these recruits. Got to get in the portal and all of that good stuff. Now, Kevin, yesterday I've never heard so much whining, and I'm talking about Texas Tech. Texas Tech women lose by 1 million to LSU. Kevin, who was Baylor going to play if they had found a way to beat Duke? That's right. How many storylines would that have been? Would have gone up against Kim Mulkey, the great Baylor coach, now leading LSU. Well, that didn't happen. And I've heard from Baylor people that are glad that didn't happen. I'm not glad. I want Baylor to win and do and challenge and go on and accept the challenge. Let me tell you what you don't do. That coach from Tech yesterday, Gerlich, they had a really nice season. They kind of turned it around. I thought they had a lot of people in the portal. I mean, Kevin, did we have we heard some rumors that like Tech's run out of money? Has Cody Campbell and the group out there, are they running low on funds? I don't think so. Number one class 2027 in football, top 5 portal class in the country. Softball, top 2 or 3 in the country. Did they run out of funds? Yesterday, Kevin, the coach gets beat by 50 for Tech, and she says she has like 1/8 of the NIL budget of LSU. What happened to just accepting defeat? Have you ever heard Scott Drew, as bad a season as it was, say, well, we don't have the NIL budget. They outspent us again. Arizona, Houston, all these losses, they outspent us. We got nothing. We're now privately, and again, I've heard Dave Aranda recently speak about needing more help in that area, but he didn't do it after games. He didn't walk to a post-game press conference and go, I'm just concerned. I'll tell you what, Kev, come on with me real quick. We want to take a quick break, and then I just noticed our man Jaffer. Let's keep it and Kevin, let's keep it short, but let's take care of a few of our sponsors, and let's get back to the kicking phenom out of UTSA. Jaffer Murphy joins us next.
Okay, That was really great for the first time on your own. Let's maybe take a break and then we'll come back and do some more.
Sounds great.
Oh, you're back. That was a fast break.
I know.
Hi, would either of you be able to assist me?
Yes, she'd love to help.
Oh, yes. I love assists.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
But boy, it looked effortless.
Man, watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
It is time, and we're excited. Jaffer Murphy is coming on with us, UTSA kicker. Boy, looking good. Love that background there, Jaffer. Congratulations to you. Has it and welcome to the Matt Mosley Show. Appreciate you doing this. You're getting, I imagine, a lot of requests, and has it been a little overwhelming, the response to your recent pro day?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. But yeah, first and foremost, too, all glory goes to God. But it has been a whirlwind of a couple days after a pro day. But I'm feeling very blessed and feeling very grateful for what's happened. And so looking forward to what's to come.
As it was happening the other day, did you sort of know what this might lead to? Or was it just kind of like when social media, because y'all have put some videos out in the past, and you and the guy you've been working with, the kicking, and I'm sure the special teams coaches there at UTSA, it's not like y'all haven't put things out, but this one kind of took on a life of its own, didn't it?
It most definitely did. Yeah, I've been working really hard, training hard with Jacob Enns, and we've been training down there in Florida. And to be able to come to pro day with all the training and the hard work we put in, and show out like we did, I think it's just one of those things where I didn't expect it to go where it's at right now. But I was just very blessed and very thankful that the day went the way that couldn't have gone any better.
Okay, so how many teams, Jaffer, have you spoken to now? And have you had to seek extra agents and more publicists? I mean, Kyle's going to have to do other things there at UTSA. I mean, you may have to hire your own full-time publicist soon.
That's funny. I've been very blessed to have been with an agent here for about the last 2 years. So he's been very helpful as far as doing things. As far as teams go, again, was a great turnout that we had at UTSA, and it was really great that I was able to speak to each of them, just kind of answer some questions, kind of share with them my story and where it all began. So,
and it began with you being a soccer player. Did you, as a soccer player, did anybody ever time you in the 40, or there was probably no reason to ever anybody say, hey, let's get your vertical or anything like that? You knew you were fast, obviously, but there was no reason ever to get like timed or any of this kind of thing, was there?
No, sir. There's no reason for us to do that as soccer players. I mean, we would have trackers during practice just to see, the miles we were covering, the yard we were covering. But as far as being timed and, measuring a jump, it hadn't been done while playing soccer.
All right. When was the first time you tried to kick a football? And
the first time I kicked actually began in high school, my junior year and senior year. The strength coach asked me to, join the team. The head coach actually asked me to join the team. And at first I was like, let's just go and try it. But then leaving high school, I still wanted to play soccer in college. But then I came back around my junior year of college, and that was fall 24, where I wanted to start kicking again and see how far that would take me.
What kind of soccer player? Obviously, you were good enough to get those offers and everything. Were you what position did you play in soccer?
I was a striker when I played soccer, yes, sir. Okay. Which is like the forward, the very top guy.
Well, can you tell I don't know my soccer?
No, it's completely fine. Completely fine.
No, I do like to watch. From a young age, even in soccer, though, were you sort of known for having a huge leg? I would imagine you started playing soccer when you were, 6 or 7 years old?
Yeah, so I'm adopted from Liberia, Africa originally. And when I got to America, I was telling my adopted parents that I want to play soccer. And from a young age, God had blessed me a lot with the skills and ability to move around and run around and kick the ball. And it wasn't until probably, high school when I started noticing the strength in my leg and my body as it's adapting and maturing that when I did join the football team, the power was there through the soccer and the nonstop training.
So how long did it take you to get the accuracy where you needed it to, you kept playing soccer, then you decide, what was that like coming to that decision? I know your mom was involved in that, to, abandon the sport you had played for so long and you grew up loving. What led to that? And was that how difficult a decision was that?
Yeah, so it was my sophomore year wrapping up in fall 23, and I just didn't feel that the season went a way that I would have been pleased with. And it was just frustrating because I just was at a point where I didn't know if I still loved soccer. Obviously, it's a sport I grew up playing, but I got on the phone with my mom, let her know what I was thinking, and she goes, do you want to do something crazy? And I was like, let's try football again. And leaving soccer definitely was hard, but it wasn't as hard as some people would think because my identity is not in the sports that I play. My identity is Jesus Christ. And so leaving that, I knew that God was still going to be with me in whatever I chose to do. So changing this football was exciting and was new. And as far as the technique and the time it took there, really training and honing in those little technique changes from soccer to a football player, Jacob Enns has really done a lot within the last 2 years with me to gain more accuracy and channel the power to be accurate.
Okay, but to arrive at Division II, Lake Erie, that had to be interesting. How did you sort of get the word out of what you were trying to do? And who was your point of contact there? And was there somebody on that staff that had some knowledge and, pretty good knowledge in the kicking game that started up, heading you up this ladder?
100%. Yes. So when I went to Lake Erie D2, his name was John Soronis. He had seen me posting videos actually on Twitter with Jacob Enns, and he saw the leg power and he said, you guys got to give this kid a shot. And so I spoke with John Soronis, spoke with the staff at Lake Erie, and they gave me an opportunity, and I was just excited and ready to go. Got there, became the starter, and started kicking field goals and just saw a lot of success early on while doing that.
All right. And you made a 60-yarder in a game. I was reading versus Kentucky Wesleyan.
That is correct.
I would imagine that you don't see a lot of 60-yard field goals in Division II. You don't see a lot in D1. What was that? How exhilarating was that? And was that like, did your teammates, what was the reaction to something like that?
Definitely an exhilarating feeling. I remember being at that game and we were down and we had a couple of opportunities to kick and we had decided to go for it. Again, football is a game of inches and you want to, make the best decision for the team. And so I remember we were about to go into halftime and I was actually taking off my shoes. I was like untying my shoes and then I heard field goal unit up. And so I'm like quickly putting my shoes on, running out there to the field. And in my mind, mentally, I was like, 48-yard field goal. That's what I thought. And I get out there, my holder goes, "Hey man, lock in. This is a 60-yard field goal." And like, I didn't really think. I kind of like, you talk about blacking out there, but it's just like, I was like, you know what? I got to put this through the uprights. And so when the ball got snapped, saw it, go down, kicked it, and it went through. And it was one of those feelings where after that had happened, we were still down as a team. And so it meant something to me as an individual, but I'm such a team-oriented person that when our team came back and won that game, it just all made it so much better.
Have anybody in the NFL tried to talk to you about like how they could envision using you as more than just a kicker? Like obviously you've been a kickoff specialist. You want to get where you're kicking field goals on a normal basis, and I'm sure you want to get more and more consistent. But has anybody tried to paint a picture for you of like, okay, we've never seen a kicker that runs like a 4.47. I think they listed 4.5. I've seen 4.47. Has anybody kind of painted an interesting picture to you of like how they could see using you at the next level?
I think it was during my pro day. I had a couple of questions from a couple of scouts wanting to see these other numbers, whether that was the L drill or the cone drill. And then they actually asked me to do some DB drills. And I had never done that before, but they just wanted to see the athleticism and see how well I can move before I actually even started kicking. But I think that's the only word of just, hey, we just want to see what you kind of look like doing some of these other drills is what I've heard so far.
Okay. Did you feel pretty comfortable doing some of that? And like, could you see yourself being like a kicker / cornerback? I mean, I'm sure you'll do whatever gives you the opportunity, but kicking is your first, priority. But what did it feel like?
Yes, sir. So when I went out there, when I trained in Tampa, Florida, I had already practiced the L drill and the cone drill before. And so being athletic and gifted athletic from God, it's like, I didn't have too much to think about, just go out there and do that. But then when we got to the DB drills, I think part of me started like getting nervous and that made me lose, not lose, but it made me kind of realize, you know what, here's an opportunity for me to go and show some athleticism. So let me go and do that. And it was super fun and really exciting just to go out there and show them that I can be more than just a kicker. Whatever team takes a chance on me, I'm bringing in something that's just not been seen before.
How would it work, do you think, with this new dynamic kickoffs in the NFL? Obviously, you watch kickers, and there's probably a couple of kickers. But who is your favorite kicker, by the way, in the NFL?
I can't say I have a favorite kicker, honestly. I think all of them have very individual and amazing stories, and they're all great at what they do.
Okay, for Cowboys fans, they want to hear you say Brandon Aubrey. Who likely to become the highest paid kicker in NFL history. How did you go from UNC? So you get to Chapel Hill for spring, right? And then you end up at UTSA. How did that opportunity come about? And like, why did you or your agent decide maybe there's a better opportunity there in San Antonio?
So leaving the D2 school, Lake Erie, I'd gotten a call one evening from University of Chapel Hill there about a preferred walk-on opportunity, and I wanted to bet on myself and go out there and show what I could do. Definitely being the second semester of me kicking live field goals and kicking there's still work to be done. But the opportunity out there was so amazing that I just couldn't turn that down. After the spring season finished, I wasn't personally pleased with my performance. And after getting cut, actually, I hit the portal again, and UTSA called me and gave me an opportunity to come out here and help be their kickoff specialist.
And 55 of 88 went for touchbacks. I mean, you like bombing it. Do you also, like for the dynamic for the NFL, do you work on the touch of having it land certain places? And do you have like a great onside kick? I mean, you may not want to reveal this, but you occasionally the NFL, the Cowboys have tried the what do you call that? The spinner.
The spinner side kick where you lay the ball kind of flat on the tee.
Yeah.
I have worked a little bit on location as far as the new kickoff rules. You also asked a great question. I didn't give you an answer to it, but with the new kickoff rules, it gives the team another player to be able to chase down returners in case, someone slips through the line. And being gifted athletically, I can, try and run after guys and stop them. So then we have a better chance at putting the defense back out there and getting the full stop and the turnover.
Do we have footage of you making any good hits? Like McAfee used to do occasionally. He would, as a punter, he lit people up with the Colts, and he was sort of known for that. Have you had any good hits?
I don't think I have any film. The only game I can think of that I made my first tackle was when we played against Texas A&M. And it realistically, I mean, I don't, didn't know how to form tackle at that time. And so I just kind of went for the ankles and was really fortunate to, hold on. So then he couldn't run through and go score a touchdown on our team.
Okay, that was not an easy one to have early in the season because that was like either Concepcion or Craver or, I mean, A&M probably had some of the best return guys y'all saw all season. Is that right?
They had some very good players. Yes, sir.
All right. To kick a 70-yard field goal, like, is it like hitting a drive in golf? Like the harder you try, sometimes you don't do as well. Do you have to kind of relax and hit it clean? Or do you find yourself, okay, I'm going to try to make a 70. I got to really give it a little something extra. What's the key to connecting from that? Because the one you made, I saw it wasn't your typical end over end because I guess you had to blast it so much. What's the key to executing something like that?
I think in my head, going out there for that is just to be relaxed and understand that it's the same mechanics as if I was kicking an extra point from 33 yards away. And so if I just let myself know, hey, relax, do the same thing. But the only difference is, put a little power behind it because you are pretty far back there. So I think that's just one thing is just going out there, keeping the mechanics the same, but really trying to get my leg power behind that to drive the ball and accurately put it in between the uprights from 70 yards.
Okay, and who put you with Jacob Enns? Because that obviously has been a relationship that goes back a few years. How did that come about? Was he just that well known out there in kicking circles? But how did that come about?
That story is actually pretty funny. So when I was posting film on my Twitter naturally, I had never used the app Twitter. So when I got a DM from a kid, his name is Reed Greck. He's also a kicker. He texted me and said, hey, by the way, your DMs are, no one can DM you. So if coaches are reaching out to you, you can't see it. So he helped me do that. And as soon as he helped me do that, he then said, hey, by the way, I see your transition from soccer to football. I have a coach I work with, Jacob Enns. I want to put you in touch with him. And right after that, I think me and Jacob's relationship has been nothing but the best. And I'm forever grateful for him entering my life and helping me do the things that I'm able to do now.
All right. And your time with the Roadrunners there, who's been most influential there and how was that as a launching pad? And then obviously this pro day took on a life of its own, but who's been instrumental in your career there on campus?
I think everyone here as a staff, whether that's the janitors to the head coach, everyone has had a part in my life where it's just been nothing but positive. And I really am grateful for what they've been able to do here for me. And leading up to pro day, I think coming back and seeing some of the teammates and stuff like that and getting, the, hey, man, good luck. Hey, man, you're going to do great out there. Hey, just go out there and relax. It's nothing but excitement and joy to know that I had people behind me rooting for me to go out there and have a good day.
All right. Do you have a good nickname yet? I mean, I can certainly work on something. Jaffer is by the way, where does your name come from? Because that's a great name.
Born in Liberia, Africa. My name was originally Jalper. That's Jalpher. But once I got adopted, my parents, Sean and Maya, they changed my name from that to Jaffer, and now I'm called Jaffer. But I don't technically know where my name comes from. But I have no nickname that I know of. I'm sure there's probably some stuff out there, but yeah, no, my name is just Jaffer Murphy.
All right, I'll work on that for you, okay? And I won't even take any royalties or anything if it really takes off. Well, man, I appreciate this. By the way, how old were you when you were adopted?
I was 4 years old, sir.
Have you been back to Iberia?
I have not. I have not been able to go back, no, sir.
Okay. Do you have interest in going back and learning more about your heritage and everything?
I most definitely do. Just definitely right now, the main focus is to pursue that career and take it to the furthest of heights, and to just be blessed there and be able to go give back and bless others that have helped me along the way.
Okay. Any visits lined up? I mean, you're not that far from the Cowboys. I'm sure they would, everybody's going to be very interested, I think, in visiting with you, just like the scouts that were on campus the other day. Anything lined up?
As of right now, just communicating with my agent, and conversations are happening, and grateful for what's happening.
Jaffer, I appreciate it. It's a great story, and yeah, it's a remarkable story. Are you still? Who's your soccer team, by the way? I'm sure you still love soccer. Yeah,
I'll still watch it occasionally. I would say my team that I watch is either Manchester United. And then I have a couple of teammates who watch, Liverpool or City, and, it's always good, or Barcelona actually too. It's always good to see players like that. Lamine Yamal, young player, who's a brilliant soccer player. So it's always fun to watch that and just remember, hey, I used to do that, used to be out there playing. So it's fun.
But you're a football player now. There's no returning to
yes,
soccer
sir. I'm
in your life.
Yes, sir. I'm an American football player. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. And thanks for doing this. A lot of people will watch this, and we'll send it around everywhere. And you're a remarkable story. And I even heard today from the famous Texas A&M and Philadelphia Eagles kicker Tony Franklin, and that was back in the day, Jaffer, where they had barefoot kickers, and
wow.
they were straight on kickers. But I think Tony may have taken it. He was one of the first to maybe do the soccer style. But back in the day, have you ever tried to kick one straight on?
I have not tried to kick one straight on, no, sir.
Okay. Back in the day, the guy for Washington won the MVP in the NFL. His name was Mark Mosley, kind of like my name. And he literally could kick 55 to 60-yard field goals, and they would just start their lead up straight on and just go up and kick it. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
Pretty crazy. Hey, really appreciate the time. We're going to continue to monitor things, and I know UTSA, very pleased they have a guy like you. You're a great representative, and your story's amazing. So if somehow it doesn't work out, I think you've got broadcasting in your future as well. All right.
I appreciate you taking your time so much, sir. Thank you so much.
You bet. There he goes. Jaffer Murphy joining us from the UTSA campus. And we appreciate Kyle Stevens and the group there, Kurt Potcotter, the deputy AD there. They got a great we were just talking about it a little while ago, Kev, just the baseball program there. Obviously, the football's had a lot of attention over the last 5 years. It's a really cool program. And what an unbelievable story. I just don't think we've heard of. I think the wildest kicker story, and it always involves the Raiders, was Janikowski, Kev, being taken first in the first round, and that's been a long time ago now. And only the Raiders would do something like that. Now, he did go on to have like a 16 to 18-year career. Should you take a kicker in the first round? I think the answer is no. Jaffer is a different case because he does way more than just kicking from an athleticism standpoint. Now, again, the thing he's going to run into is just that he doesn't have the place kicking track record that most NFL players would have. Now, I say that, though. Brendan Aubrey, the great Cowboys kicker, was a soccer player at Notre Dame, then got his career going in the spring league. I don't know if it's USFL, may have been whatever was before the USFL. And then he got his shot with the Cowboys, and he's gone on to be amazing. There's Jaffer running his 40, and that's pretty cool.
Remember, McAfee was a field goal kicker at West Virginia.
That's a good point. That's a fair point.
And then he came and transitioned to punting, and he met with Adam Vinatieri. His story goes that he met with Adam Vinatieri, and Vinatieri was like, hey, you ever hold for a kick? Nope. Okay, well, here we go.
Well, and at that point, the punters became pretty much every team does that now. The only issue the Cowboys ran into, well, Romo had the infamous bobble. Why did Romo have to do that? Well, their punter had bobbled even when they snapped it back to him. He had a horrible bobble against the Vikings. They lost that game, but he just happened to be one of the best punters in the game. That was Matt McBriar. But I don't, as I recall,
wasn't Romo kind of in the transition where typically your backup quarterback would be the holder? Wouldn't that?
Yeah, but the problem was Drew Bledsoe was by then the backup quarterback, and that was, you're not going to ask a veteran of 12 or 13 years in the NFL, Drew Bledsoe, to go out there and hold, and they didn't trust McBriar to do it. So Tony had to go out there to hold as their starting quarterback. And as what defined Tony's career, the ups and downs, Tony bobbled the dang hold, and they lost that playoff game against Seattle. And that would be the last game that Bill Parcells ever coached. That was the 2006 season, and he stepped away and then made a boatload of money. The Dolphins hired him to run their football, be president of football ops or whatever they called it. And so he made back then, like it was a head coach making $3 million was great. Wade Phillips, that's what he ended up making, was about $3 million. Well, they paid Parcells $3 to $5 million a year to just ride around a golf cart and just kind of oversee things in Miami. And he hired the late, great Tony Sperano to be his head coach with the Dolphins. And sadly, Sperano's head coaching career with the Dolphins soured because he did great early on. And then that one year, the owner, Stephen Ross, who's a huge Michigan alum, started flying Jim Harbaugh around when he was the coach, I believe, at Stanford, while he still had a head coach in Sperano. And, of course, that screwed everything up. Nothing will make a head coach feel more secure than flying a college head coach around trying to woo him while you still have a head coach. I remember it well. Very, very cool, though. I mean, Kev, is Jaffer not an impressive dude? You know how sometimes it's just like, you never know what you're going to get when you get a college kid, a prospect, or whatever. What a cool story. Adopted Kevin, especially in a family like yours where you have adoptive children, and some of which have come from overseas. Kev from Iberia, 4 years old.
Yep.
That's an interesting deal. How often, Kevin, does that happen where someone has a name and the new American adoptive parents change that name? Is that fairly commonplace?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty common. I mean, you're dealing with a foreign language, and so to try to translate that name. And so I would say, as he was telling the story, I was like, well, that probably makes sense. They didn't know how it was pronounced, and so they just converted the PH to what we would consider to be a more readable PH, and turns out that wasn't the way it was pronounced, but they didn't know that. You know, our kids from China, they don't still have their Chinese names with characters and everything like that. We gave them their own names, American names, and we kept a Chinese middle name for them so they keep their heritage.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Can you, and I didn't, I just didn't feel like it was the time or place to get dialed too deep into it, but I was kind of thinking, like, was it an orphanage there? And I mean, I'm sure he has interest in his heritage, but he's not gone back yet. And he's now bounced around college soccer, college football. He would have to be 20. Don't you think he's probably at least 23? I bet he is. He's probably 23 or 24. Can you imagine, though, those massive, and think about that. The one other thing I meant to ask. So wait, would he have gone through spring football with Belichick at UNC?
Right. That was my thinking. And I didn't know if he was going to expose any I didn't want to play for Belichick kind of stuff. Of course he didn't.
No, I bet for whatever reason it didn't work out there. And
I mean, he just may have more opportunity in a starting rotation at UTSA, you know?
Well, he was not the place kicker. Just a reminder, he was the kickoff specialist.
Right.
But at his pro day the other day, he did go like 12 of 13. He made the 70-yard field goal. I mean, and again, he would not be the first to not have a lot of place kicking experience at a high level, but still somehow put together an NFL career. Are the odds against him? Absolutely. Like in a big way. But it helps that he can do these other things. Now, I don't know what they'll do with that. I mean, what do you do with a kicker who can run a 4.47? Somebody will be like, well, like he said, he could make tackles. Well, yeah, but now with the dynamic kickoff rules in NFL, the kicker is like way behind everybody. So the only thing you really can be is like a real fast safety valve. So I'm not saying it couldn't come in handy at some point. You don't really draft somebody based on that. You would draft him, one, if you thought eventually he could be like a really reliable field goal kicker. But that's interesting that they made him do some drills like you would do with defensive backs and all.
You think about it, whenever the announcer says it, with only the kicker to beat, that's like a footnote most of the time. That's like a formality. It wouldn't be with him. He does become, in a different way than Aubrey, a different kind of weapon.
No, looking back, we'll maybe have him on down the road after he ends up somewhere. I think the question I would ask, Kev, it's always after you do one of these interviews, you're like, wait, I wish I'd done this. But I would have liked to have asked at UNC, because think about how Belichick obsesses about what you were just talking about. Like just having these weapons, there was a punter, Australian rules type player he had a few years ago, or a punter that could do all this different stuff. Belichick, who loves special teams, is the kind of guy that would kind of be fascinated with a guy like this. But the thing is, Kevin, it's not like they were running him in 40s. They probably didn't understand that this kid could, run a 4.47. There was no reason for them to line him up and have him run against other players. So Belichick likely never found out like what kind of interesting weapon he had. My guess is that somehow in the spring, he just wasn't consistent enough for UNC to really even give him a fair look. But they got the videos, and this guy, now Kevin, that's an interesting, and I didn't want it to turn into an infomercial for this Jacob Inns, but that's pretty cool. That ends, it's called like at end zones kicking. That's the Twitter handle. And this Jacob Ends is some sort of kicking whisperer. So what I didn't want to do, Kevin, is I tried to bring it back to, make sure we gave the Roadrunners their due, because that's where he did his pro day. And that's kind of where he will now kind of get his launching point before possibly having a shot at the NFL. All right, Kev, that was fun. And our buddy Brandon will do some things with that interview, and we'll get that out across America, the highways and byways of America. All right. I'll tell you what we'll do, Kev. Let's do 2:00 here. Let's do some major March Madness talk. And we'll do it under the guise of Campus Confidential, but I've got a lot of things to bounce off of you. But we'll start off with you asking me a couple things, and then I've written down a ton of notes coming out of March Madness. And then, if anybody wants to bring up, it's a downer. I don't want to ignore the Baylor women's basketball. I'm not going to beat them up, but, it's not good. I'm not going to sit here and go, yeah, the program's fine. They just kind of petered out at the end of the season. And these really good players all ended on a horrible note. So I'm not, what am I going to do? To me, that would be sexist for me to beat up on Scott and the basketball all year and then to come back and go, it's okay. It's okay. The women, they'll be back because at least they went to the tournament. That's not what the standard is at Baylor. The standard is what the standard is. You went 22 straight years of being in the tournament or winning a game in the first round of the tournament and 1 million Sweet 16s, 3 national titles. That's the standard. So we're not going to sit here and attaboy it when they go running in there and get their rears knocked off by Duke. All right, they beat Duke early in the season. We need to credit them for that. Why at the end of the season could they not even stay on the same basketball court with Duke? Did they lose a bunch? Did they lose players? Am I missing something? Did Baylor have some players get injured? Markayla did get injured and did not play and had an ACL, and she was coming on. So the answer is yes. Should that have led to the Bears getting beat by 24 by the Duke Blue Devils? No, it should not have. Got to be better. Got to get great in the portal. Nikki will need help. Nikki needs NIL money, and Nikki needs to whatever she needs to do on her staff. But whatever this was not good enough. All right, it's the Mosley Show. We're rolling, and we're going to talk March Madness. And I will tell you, the greatest players left and the greatest to me, what we're about to see is some of the greatest collection of coaches and players. We can be mad about there being no Cinderellas. No, we can't call the University of Texas a Cinderella. I know people were joking about that. But what we do have is crazy high-level basketball that's about to take place. We discuss next.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing. located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
If I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Allen Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NordVPN.com. Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kitbag.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
All right, it's Mosley, the Mosley Show, and you never know who might join us. Kev, as I mentioned, Baylor Pro Day, we'll do a little more on that coming up at 2:30, about 2:35, and that and we'll give our folks, Kevin. You know, it's kind of like choose your own adventure. I've now got we could get Cole Wilson, Omar Egbedian, Jackie Marshall, Michael Trigg. I spent time with all of them. Really had a nice time down there. I would say Cole Wilson, wow, 5'9" guy that came from Texas State, had a pretty good year. Had about 600 yards and 6 touchdowns for the Bears. Cole went crazy yesterday. I mean, had almost a 40-inch vertical, 38.5, ran about a 4.35. 4.38 40. They tried to make him do it again. He's like, no thanks. We're all good here. I mean, that's impressive. So, slot guy, 5'9", but with like crazy athleticism. And then Omar goes over there on the bench on the 225. And I mean, the most an offensive lineman did at the combine, A&M kid, I think it was Trey Zun, however you say that, Zuhn, put up 33 reps of 225. Omar did 31. It's great showing. And little Cole, Kev, put up, of course, these 5'9" guys are ripped. I hate to call them little. Cole puts up 21 of those. I bet Cole weighs, he's kind of ripped up, but he's 5'9", so I bet he only weighs 165 or 170 or something like that. 225 21 times. Whoa. I mean, crazy. But a lot of cool stuff going on. And Sawyer threw, and I don't know why I'm having to, tell our folks, show them how these things work. I think they get it. Sawyer really threw the ball well. And deep balls, fades, back of the end zone, did some nice things throwing the football. So the scouts got a good look. And as I told you, Kev, earlier, the Cowboys tight ends coach, Lunda Wells, spent his entire day just one-on-one with Michael Trigg. That was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to watch. And earlier we just had Jaffer Murphy on. That'll be cool. Young man from UTSA, and who is getting a lot of national attention for being able to run a 4.47. I'm told like a 45-inch vertical. He kicked a 70-yard field goal. He is a field goal kicker. He's more of like a kickoff specialist, I would call him right now. But it's pretty awesome. Kevin, don't you know, like whoever the place kicker last year at UTSA, what if they had a really good place kicker and the kickoff specialist is the one getting all the attention? I'm sure he's like, dang, man, what do I have to do? Well, run a 4.5, jump over 40 inches. This guy was a big time, soccer player who knew that he could do all these things. But Kevin, it makes me think there are probably a lot of great soccer players that, because of they run constantly and cut and do all the things, that probably could do some amazing things like in a combine setting, but there's never a reason to do any of that stuff. But really, really thankful for UTSA for lining that up, because honestly, that kid is that was such an interesting story. They're getting lots of requests for him. All right, Kevin, let's do some Campus Confidential. By the way,
right.
Thank you for C&B. Thank you, Central National Bank, for being you, for being an unbelievable bank. And thank you, by the way, that card show, the collector's show up at Texas Sports Hall of Fame over the weekend, Friday, Saturday. Had some really cool stuff happening up there. We're appreciative of everybody who took part in that. But C&B, wow, one of the top executives over there, Brian Fonville, was off in Portugal here recently. But Kevin, you know what he was doing?
What's that?
Watching the Mosley show.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Overseas, watching the Mosley show.
Did he have it in Portuguese then? Did he translate it, have the overdub?
I took Portuguese in at Baylor. And let me say hello to you in Portuguese.
Okay.
Bom dia.
Oh.
Bom dia. Now, did I learn any other words? I think the answer would be no. But I love
not that stuck with you, I guess.
I like the Portuguese professor. That was the first guy I'd ever had. He brought us all out to his house for like a little party or something at the end of the semester. And he soaked his fajitas. We had like Portuguese fajitas or whatever, I don't know what you call them, but they were just regular fajitas. But the first time I'd had somebody, I'm sure they were doing this back then, but it never occurred to me. And he soaked them in beer. And of course, me being the good Baylor lad that I am, and I was, that was not something I would ever partake in. I was not a beer drinking individual.
It's different when they're cooked in it, though.
It gave it a great. It was really good, and I remember telling him, Professor Portugal. I just can't think of his name. I love these fajitas. He was out in the country somewhere. Who was my professor? If anybody else take Portuguese back in the day at Baylor? He was an older gentleman back then. Now, my Spanish professor was the great Baudelio Garcia.
Oh.
Excuse me. Baudelio Garza. And
Gotcha.
he was awesome. That was one of my favorite professors ever. I don't even think he gave me a great grade. But I just loved him.
The multilingual Mosley.
Yeah, I went to Baylor on a Spanish scholarship from Kaufman High School. Yeah, because I was like one of the few people at Kaufman who could actually even get close to saying some of those words. All right. I mean, we had very good educators. What do you now? I will say I've written down about a million things here, but
we'll get to
I want you to start with
right.
What do you have for me in Campus Confidential?
All right. So Travis Steele from Miami University, I said it right, has been vocal all year about the scheduling in college basketball, but it was brought up again by High Point's Flynn Clayman this past weekend. What is the responsibility of power conferences to mid-majors for scheduling them so that everyone kind of has a little bit of a fair shake when it comes to tournament time and things like that?
They have no responsibility. Like it's just not. I mean, now some of them will play them. I think Flynn, among others, was basically, especially after that big win he had.
Yep.
Over. Which one was
Wisconsin.
that? Wisconsin. Well, they almost had another one. Wow. That's a play-in. Those are some play-in dudes over there. That guard, that little guard. Oh, my gosh. But I thought Painter had some good. Painter had from Purdue. He's growing on me a little bit because his news conferences are really good, and he explains a lot of stuff. And he came out and he said, if you're not like scheduling for your net, like what it takes to be seated and all that stuff, he said, you're a bozo. You're a complete bozo. And again, most of these schools do play some mid-majors. It's just not those mid-majors, right? One coach came out, I can't remember if it was Painter or somebody, but they sounded a little defensive, but they said, hey, we played Toledo. We played Akron. We played, it's like some of them do play those teams. Now, Baylor will do that, but Baylor also, and I don't understand it really, here's what I would like to see Baylor stop doing. You don't need to play quad 4 teams. There's really no upside to it. I would like to see fewer bye games. And what I'm talking about is just those teams that you are picking up a check, and I don't blame them. They're trying to keep their athletic programs afloat. They've got no NIL money to speak of, and they make their whole budget by going around getting beat by bigger teams. Those are called bye games. Scott Drew and Baylor, like this next year, they've got nothing to gain. They're probably smart to try to play St. John's or a UConn or a Duke, because losing to those teams is really not going to hurt them. That's not going to hurt them. What do they don't have a lot to gain by playing Miami University or Toledo or Akron, because while a win's fine, it's still a win against those teams is more like I don't even know if it's truly a quad 2 win. I think it might count as a quad 3. So my answer to you, Kevin, is like your only responsibility is to who you work for and who pays you, and to get your team in the best possible shape to the NCAA tournament. You can't be propping up High Point or Miami University or Toledo. That's not who you work for. So again, if I found out that Izzo or somebody was doing something to help those schools, I would go, that's very nice, Tom. That's very cool. Like, I like that about you. But you don't have to. Like, so my answer is you have no responsibility to those teams. Yeah. And if you're a coach of one of those teams, I'm sorry, you got to do what Miami University did. You got to almost win every game, or you got to go win your tournament, and then you can play with the big boys.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in the WCC, you got a little better chance of getting in. But again, even that's going away because Gonzaga and some of these teams are leaving to go be in the new Pac-12, right? And so even the WCC is probably going to have to get back. Wait, one of those conferences is just going away completely.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is, but they'll still have a WCC, won't they, in some form or format?
I believe so. I think,
I
there's
think
people going from Mountain West.
Correct.
But
the
conference
big time
hopping.
Mountain West people are all going to the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, what is the Mountain West or WCC? And do you just fold the WCC into the Mountain West? I can't remember the answer to that. It's hard to keep up with all these realignment type deals. But the truth is we got some great games, and it's not like the little guy doesn't still have some great players. What doesn't seem to happen anymore, at least the last 2 years, is none of them make it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Now, High Point had a great chance.
Yep.
Some of those teams had a shot, but they don't. This is 2 years in a row where only the major conferences are represented in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
There is not a single. And so then we have to decide, Kevin, the new Pac-12, will we refer to that as a major conference? At least in basketball, we might. I don't exactly know how to phrase that yet. Are they still going to be mid-majors? Like, I'm never going to call Gonzaga a mid-major, yet they'll be in that conference with some people we traditionally think of as mid-majors, like Boise State, like Colorado State, like some of those teams.
Yeah.
All right, sir, what else do you have?
Should Santa Clara's Herb Sendek have been awarded a timeout preventing Kentucky's free-flow game-tying shot from half court to send it in overtime? Have you seen this video?
Wait.
I don't have the video, but
ask me the question again.
So Santa Clara's coach, Herb Sendek, apparently before it was inbound, he called timeout.
I know this, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What Kevin is talking about is Sendek, they make the big three.
Yep.
This is before Kentucky hit. Well, that was the shot of the tournament. There's the missed shot of the tournament you and I will talk about coming up.
Agreed.
And the shots of the tournament. That three the kid made from.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that.
Yep. There are many.
Sendek. Here's what Sendek went wrong. I know what you're saying. Santa Clara hits the big three.
Yeah. And you can see he does call timeout before the ball is inbounded.
He got
but
it.
At that point, the ref had kind of turned.
He got it too late.
Yeah.
There was a good explanation on this. The ball, once the ball goes through and they get the ball in the hand of the guy inbounding, like you've got to bang the timeout, like basically
as it's going through.
After the thing goes through.
Yeah.
You got to get your timeout.
Yeah.
So the refs have made some bad calls in this deal, and like I was watching a game last night late, and there were way too many replays. Like Van Gundy was getting sick of it, and I was too. They were going to the monitor way too much. But Sendek was too late in banging his timeout. Okay?
Yeah.
So
and it wasn't the first time where in the tournament where we've seen a lower seeded team not quite be ready for the speed of the game on the sideline. I think there was another time where there was a media, I think it was VCU that I've been wrong, but there was a challenge they would have won, but they didn't call for it before the refs had called for the media timeout, so they didn't get it.
Oh, you're suggesting, if I understand you correctly, that maybe the lower seeded teams aren't quite as quick as some of the high majors with their little iPad people on the second row.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if there's
I'm not saying that's an but I do know those two examples of that instance happening. So,
yeah, boy, that's a tough one for Santa Clara. They almost had that one. Now, you and I were able to react to that one in real time the other day.
Yeah,
because that was happening Friday. Correct?
That is correct. Yeah. Liam was home from spring break and he was in the other room and had to like clamp himself down so he didn't make a whole bunch of like background racket. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, in that case, I would have been fine. I don't want your dog.
I know we might have been a little bit ahead. We don't want to ruin anything.
I don't want your dogs yipping a bunch out there, but I don't mind your children. In fact, I saw one on the screen recently. What a cutie! Yeah, one of your kids. Okay,
you ready?
Yeah. What else?
Before we move on to the rest of March Madness, since we were at March Madness, I wanted to get your take on this top 10 greatest days of sports. Do you agree with this? What would be your top 10 greatest days in sports? This one says day 1 of March Madness on Thursday is number 1. Then day 2 doesn't arrive until number 3. And then slotting in there is week 1 of NFL, Sunday. They got Sunday at the Masters, October, November, which is not a day. I don't know about that one. College football.
I don't. Yeah, I'll tell you what doesn't, because
anything missing. Because I have one, but
I think it's kind of sad, and I'm going to MLB opening day for the Rangers. I think it's kind of sad that that's that low. I mean, something that's such a national. Well, when it's your team that's opening at home, I think that should be up there higher. I might even have the Masters higher. That one is awesome. I think the Sunday round on Father's Day of U.S. Open, but I'm a huge golf guy. So see, your own sensibilities are going to inform these things. So those are two that would jump out to me. The U.S. Open and the Masters. But I love the opening rounds, of now, let's see, 10 top sports days of the year. See, I don't think I think things should have been around for a long, long time before they get real high. So the CFP, and I'm sure if Baylor was in it, I would have a different thought. It's exciting, but it's not. I don't think I'd have it up that high.
Think of New Year's Day bowl games have always kind of been like this.
Yeah, but it all changed. Yeah, they kind of changed it, and so that screwed everything up. But it used to be when I was a kid and you were a kid, the Rose Bowl and all the big bowl games being on January 1st.
Yeah,
you could make an argument that was one of the greatest days of the year for sure. Christmas Day is just not. I'm not saying I don't look at these things.
Yeah.
And I've actually had to fly back on Christmas Day from covering a game on Christmas Eve. And I had to leave Christmas to go cover a Bill Parcells news conference during the week. The evil Scrooge Parcells having a press conference. I mean, I remember all those things. But Christmas Day is still so much about Christmas.
Yeah.
That I couldn't put it that high. In fact, it probably wouldn't be in my top 10. So, but that's an interesting. I'm glad you brought it up. Okay.
The glaring one to me, being from Indianapolis, is there is no Indianapolis 500 on this list. And I understand that comes from my own personal thing. Yeah. But if you have never been to an Indy 500, as a sports person, I cannot suggest going to an Indy 500 enough. 33 cards roaring at 200 plus miles per hour for one spot on one corner, and then opening lap is just absolutely unreal.
I don't doubt it, and I would love to check out the Daytona 500 as well. The winner one time, Sterling Marlin. I got to know him later after he won that one. I wanted to talk to you about, Kev.
Yeah.
Stay with me here.
I'm ready.
Some of the things that happened over the weekend in college basketball, some of the most amazing things. Let's start with that Nebraska Vandy game. And we talked about it a minute ago. That was there's that picture. And first of all, the guy who tried this three from midcourt had Tyler Tanner is his name. He's a sophomore. He's the baby-faced assassin, they call him. He was awesome. And to do it in Oklahoma City, where Nebraska had taken over the entire arena, very impressive. They're going to do the same thing in Houston, I bet, because the Cougars will show up, and Nebraska's going to show up. That's going to be a wild scene at the Sweet 16 in Houston. In fact, I kind of want to go. Usually when Baylor's not involved, I kind of lose interest a little bit, but I think that would be fun. But this kid was awesome in that game, kept Vandy in it when Nebraska was trying to pull away. And then all of a sudden, Vandy has like a 3-point lead, and the Nebraska people are freaking out. I find it hilarious that Hoiberg's son, Sam Hoiberg, went in and had such a huge, like the tiniest little guy on the court, had a follow layup. And then with the game on the line, they just, it was like a broken play almost. The bad defense on Vandy. The guy for Nebraska passes it to, I think it was Braden Frager is his name. And Frager goes in, and there it is. It was a great finish, layup. But what you can't see on over here on to the left of Frager, the guy, and it wasn't even that good of a looking pass, but it was like they just didn't set up their defense, and he gets it to the middle, and Vandy was cooked. And that dude slithered in there, made a great layup, and he put the pressure on Vandy. Well, Vandy doesn't have any timeouts left, and they come rolling back up the court. And that kid launches the three, and Kev from midcourt, and it reminded a lot of people, of course, of Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
When Butler, he tried to hit that shot that almost went in. This case, it not only it was off the board, it looks like it's going to go in. And I thought one of the funniest, coolest things about this, and the ball comes out. The hilarious thing is to watch those Nebraska kids who were under the rim, because it took them a little while to celebrate because they were having trouble processing what they were seeing. Yeah. Because in that moment, they thought they had lost. So one of the guys already had his hands up on his head, and it took him a minute to then start celebrating because they thought they had lost at the buzzer.
Right.
Wow. Because they were only up by 2, and that would have beaten them. That would have beaten them right there. And look at it. Shot got off in plenty of time. It's striking 0, and that dang ball is sitting in the cylinder. And it comes back out. Best moment of the tournament so far. I mean, there's some great ones. There's some great ones. By the way, I told you about how that Tech women's coach was whining about NIL. There's our old buddy who's a good coach. Let's not act like he's not a good coach, because Mick Cronin is a good coach. But did you hear him last night, Kevin, post-game? They get beat. And who beat UCLA?
UConn.
Okay, Huskies beat them. Oh, how could I forget? Because
it was
2 of the most annoying coaches in the history of college basketball.
Yeah.
So, but you watch all these games and you start to kind of have trouble remembering who played who, right? And Cronin after the game, I thought the Huskies, when they had to, their big man's awesome. That's a scary team. I do not remember a Sweet 16 that I literally would go 1 through 16, and the only team I don't think is that great is the University of Texas. Like, every other team, you can make an argument. They're like, well, yeah, they're dang good. Well, yeah, McCollum's a heck of a coach for Iowa. I mean, Michigan's awesome. U of H is awesome. Illinois is stacked. You just go right down the line. Like this is one of the just flat out chalkiest, best Sweet 16s we've ever had.
Yeah.
All right. So I will say that Illinois-Houston game is going to be a monster. Now, Kev, let me bring something up. Illinois is awesome. That's another school. Like, if you were ranking the Sweet 16, like, where do you put Illinois? Huh?
I told you this. They were my top pick of the Big Ten teams left, in the tournament to begin with.
Yeah, I mean,
even better than Michigan, in my opinion.
I still got to put Michigan ahead of them, but, I mean, when you think about it, the Avicic brothers, Lord help. I mean, one of them like went up there and had this unbelievable block. I mean, that was awesome to watch, because those young men decided, well, I think I'll go try to dunk on these European kids. And it's not even the best Avicic brother. His brother's the best one, but this Avicic, which I can't even think of his first name, turned that kid around and then went down and just dunked on the whole world himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're athletic and they can shoot threes.
Yep.
They're so good they bring Stojakovic off the freaking bench. They got David Mirkovic,
who is amazing,
who's awesome. And so that was good. And then they've got freaking freshman in Wagler.
I got you.
Wagler.
Yep.
Keaton Wagler, who's just Wagler.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about like the best constructed roster, and you go, well, maybe they have like Arizona, or maybe their money, maybe it is, but you still have to go out and find the right pieces.
Yep.
And Brad, that guy is Underwood. That's a coach right there. He used to be at SFA. Then he goes to Oklahoma State. Then he goes to Illinois. Man, there's some great coaches in this thing. Now, Kev.
Yeah.
Iowa, Florida. This comes down another great game, and you got two. McCollum's a flat out coach. Like sometimes you go, well, wait, I don't know how that mid-major guy will do. I didn't know Todd Golden was from San Francisco. He's cocky and he's arrogant. He's all the things Florida needs in a head coach. But this guy, McCollum, when he was at Drake, and I guess he brought Sturts with him to Iowa, this was one of those, when they made the hire, you're like, yeah. Like, Kevin, if I'm Indiana, and let's act like Indiana was still Indiana as a basketball program, this is the guy you had to hire. It's like, how do you let Iowa? Well, he's got all the ties. He's got all the Iowa ties. He takes over Iowa. You knew it was going to work. It doesn't matter that Iowa was the number 9 seed. You knew when they hired Ben McCollum that you're just like, this is an awesome head coach. And guess what? He is an awesome head coach. And did he outfox the great Todd Golden? Absolutely. They were winning. There he is. There's that skinny. He is arrogant as all get out. I don't like him, but he's a great coach. And he knows how to go get players. I don't love this thing we do. Like, well, they just have more NIL money than us. You still have to go out and put an interesting team together. Like last year, he brings in Walter Clayton Jr., and the guy saved him multiple times, and they win a national title. In that game, I'm not for the whole season, would I say oh, Iowa's better than Florida. No, there's a reason one was a 9 seed, one was a 1 seed. In that game, Iowa outplayed them, and they were up 10 in the second half. So let's not act like, oh, Iowa got lucky. Iowa flat out got it done.
Yep.
You know, they got this guy, and his dad died. This is the Iowa player. His dad died when he was 9. He points at the sky when he makes threes, which he makes a lot of them. His mom was getting to see him play for the first time, you know, at this level, at the college level. This is Alvaro Folgueras. Sturts did the right thing here. So this game's coming down to the final. I mean, it's awesome. They're down by 1. They're coming down the court. They've got a little time to work with, Kevin. When they came down the court, about 8 or 9 seconds, is that about right? When they started that play?
Mm-hmm.
Sturts gets the Florida defender, Boogie Flan, on his hip.
Mm-hmm.
So Sturts, who had not had a great game by his standards, but is a big shot maker.
Yep.
So all the focus goes to Sturts,
Mm-hmm.
S-T-I-T-R-Z, or S-T-I-R-T-Z.
Yep.
Sturts is former Drake star. Sturts is rolling downhill. Folgueras is waiting out there in the corner.
He just leaks out to the corner.
Sturts gets it out to him. Pretty as a peach.
Yep.
Pretty as a peach. Like he's taking that shot.
He even had time to make sure his step back, look, make sure his feet were back.
Thousands of times. Step back, rhythm, 3, bottoms. Okay, now, that was awesome. I don't know what Florida was doing. So they had like 4.9. They got plenty of time to get it length of the court. And their guard, who had made some big shots in that game, their point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a point guard or shooting guard? He's a little point guard. He's a tiny little guy. I don't know what he was doing, man. He's at the rim, and they did wall him up, and they sent players at him. But you've got 1 second left in the game.
Right.
You got to find
go
a way.
You
you're
can't
going
get
up.
caught. You can't
going
get
up.
caught too far into the basket and try to toss it back. No.
He goes up. He doesn't feel comfortable with the look he's going to have because they're all coming at him. And he tries to throw a pass in traffic. And that was Hawk. Was that Hawk, Thomas? And I felt bad for that kid because that kid almost acted like he did something wrong. He didn't. If anybody did anything wrong, there were some free throws missed down the stretch. And but again, each team is going to miss a free throw or two here and there. I was shocked when that Nebraska player that was so awesome from 3. These one of the things I love watching, Kevin, is when these guys that are not great, like they're not the best athletes in the world. It's almost like, and they keep showing Hoosiers on True TV after these games, and I keep watching it. Jimmy Chitwood had that shot. It's like the Nebraska players. You go, Mosley, you're saying that because they're white or something. I don't know. I mean, I think there are players of all races in this tournament that have incredible shots. It is funny to look out there and see Hoiberg running 5 white dudes. Don't act like people don't notice that Hoiberg's out there running offense with 5 white guys. Now, he did have a black guy, a player on the court, at the end of the game, I would say. But it's interesting, to watch all this. I would say, Kev, that almost as big a story. Do we need to take one quick break?
At some point. Yep.
Okay. Let's take a break, and then we'll finish the show. I've got a couple more March Madness nuggets, and then I'll take you inside the Baylor pro day a little bit. We'll do that next.
If I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Alan Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Everybody at Ecolife really has a passion and a real interest in helping people feel well. How much further can we go to get you feeling even better? It is a complete partnership between the two of us.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
I am obsessed with helping business owners increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. It's this amazing platform where people are looking for ideas, inspiration. They have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at auraorganic.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Oh, good to be back. Kev, I tell you, man, this is a lot to take in. I did like, Kevin, I meant to send you this because you would love this video. And in fact, I'll send it to you. We can use it tomorrow. Well, I'll send it to you right now. We actually could, knowing your abilities, we could turn it around in a hurry. I love this line from Cole Wilson. And this is a video. We'll credit Siegmund 365. They were taking the video. Jack was there. Jack was like correcting me yesterday. Kevin, I had something I didn't phrase exactly right about Omar Egbedian's 31 reps. I said they were the set tied for second most, which is true for offensive linemen, but I guess I didn't say for offensive linemen. And boy, he was letting me know. No, there was a defensive lineman that had 37. So that's okay. I like being corrected. I like to get things right. I will also say, man, major shout out to UTSA for lining up Jaffer Murphy with us, the bionic kicker. I don't know. We got to come up with a Jaffer, what rhymes with Jaffer. Interesting. That was not his Iberian name, was a little different. Ends up being Jaffer now. He said his Iberian name when he was adopted as a 4-year-old from Iberia. It was like Jalpha. And man, I don't know, Kevin, didn't he seem almost almost like a CEO or something? I mean, Jaffer was like he was an interesting guy. I mean, he had it buttoned down and he just kind of had that look of a guy like, I mean, he's a serious guy. I felt bad, Kevin. I felt like after the interview started, I thought, gosh, I wish I hadn't worn the ball cap. I mean, Jaffer came to the podium ready to roll. Mosley's wearing a ball cap and a golf shirt. I think I maybe should have prepared a little more. 4.47 is what some people had as 40. 12 of 13 on field goals, and he hit a 70-yard field goal. He's got a monster leg. He's a former soccer player. Went from UNC, went from a Division II Lake Erie to UNC to UTSA. And I liked he didn't try to fudge the story. He was like, hey, I got cut by UNC. I sent some videos to UTSA. I drove all the way there and did some stuff, and they said, welcome to the team. And he became their kickoff specialist. What a really interesting and cool young man. What a great representative for Birds Upland, the land of the 210. Kevin, yesterday I kept writing down numbers of some of the Baylor players because I want to have them on. And I kept writing the area code 832. And I just didn't understand. It didn't mean anything to me. That is a area code that's now used in Houston. See, I still think of Houston as 713. And then there's another Houston that's like, not 806 or 801. There's some other one that I know. But I didn't know, obviously if you're talking about Dallas, you're 972 or 214. Houston, Kev, the 832 is a big thing. I was trying to think if anybody else did something at the Baylor Pro Day. Kev, did you get that thing I sent you from Cole Wilson? I just love that answer.
I almost got it.
Almost has. All right. Cole Wilson was being asked, the Baylor 5'9" receiver who transferred in from Texas State, about sort of like what got into him. I mean, we knew he was a great athlete. We know he's very fast. He ran a 4.35 yesterday. He had a 38.5-inch vertical. He was let down. He thought he could do 40. He did 21 reps on the 225 pounds. I guarantee you there's no way he weighs more than like 175, 180. He's 5'9". He's well-proportioned guy. He's strong guy. But, all right, let's look at this, Kevin. This is Cole Wilson. Thank you. This is from Sickle 365, this video. But this is little Cole Wilson being asked, like, what led to this unbelievable performance at the at Baylor Pro Day?
Adrenaline in the Lord. Whenever them lights come on, you gotta put on.
Was 21 in the bench press, was that your best ever? But
oh yeah, oh yeah. I'll give y'all that one. Yeah, 21. That was the best for sure.
That was impressive.
Was that something you even thought you could do, or what was the number that you were maybe shooting for?
I was shooting for like 15, honestly. But when I was repping them out, I think I got to like 12. I was like, oh yeah, I feel good. So I just kept going. And then whenever it started to get a little tough, just took a little break and then started one repping it. But yeah, that was way more than I expected.
Now, the part I like is that early part, Kev, where he said, that's a good Baylor answer. He said, when asked him what powered him through his impressive pro day, he said, the Lord. Adrenaline and the Lord. I thought they got cut off a little bit at this first. When the lights come on, you got to put on. That's good. Cole Wilson yesterday at the Baylor Pro Day. It was good. It was good to be in the Fudge Development Center and watch that Pro Day and react to it, see some of the folks. Had a few Baylor fans and parents and people milling around. Then afterwards went out, saw on the field Jake Spavital, Jared Anderson, the Baylor tight ends coach. Got to see Big Larry, one of the great Baylor recruiters, and does a lot of stuff for Baylor. They call him Big Larry. I saw Coach Aranda, and the only thing I should have done that I didn't do, I bet Coach Clanderman might have been hanging around, and I did not get to say hi to him. But I got to see a lot of the Baylor folks and enjoyed doing that, and then got to meet Josh Cameron's mom and dad, the great Baylor wide receiver. They're awesome. They are awesome. All right, Kevin, I'm not going to talk today any about the Baylor women's basketball. I might look into it a little more tomorrow. Was it a successful season? Based on the history of this program, no. Compared to Baylor men's basketball this year, yes. But it's not good enough, and they did not get better down the stretch. In fact, they did the exact opposite. They went the wrong direction. And they can't beat TCU. They've lost 5 straight to them. They're going to need portal money. They're going to need great recruiting. They're going to have to get big time into the portal. And I don't know. I mean, who's better than Baylor in the Big 12 right now? Women's. West Virginia, TCU, those are the 2 teams I would say almost for sure are better than Baylor. So they're not, I mean, I'm not saying they're like way down, but it's just, the problem is, man, their team's on the way. Here comes Arizona State. Going to get better and better under Molly. They were not good in the past. And, they're going to get better. I'm trying to think what happened to, I don't know what happened to Arizona. They were really good, and Baylor thought about hiring their coach. Their coach now is off somewhere else, like at SMU. But anyway, Baylor just did not finish the year. Last couple of March Madness nuggets. Kev, I thought
you have to talk about the best ending to the best coaching matchup this tournament so far.
St. John's, Kansas?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, first of all, I hate that as much as I have disliked him over the years, it sounded like after the game, Bill Self's thinking about walking away. And he's got heart condition and things he's got to sort out. And obviously Darren Peterson, that team never hit its ceiling, but they came back. And that game that I kind of got off that game, Kev, because St. John's was looking very much in charge of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it was Trey, Melvin, or even Darren Peterson with a couple of those late big-time free throws, Kansas did get back into the game. Now, let me say something about the end of that game, Kevin. I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
I think you can overcoach. Bill Self got caught overcoaching. He's a great, great coach, and he's one of the best coaches of all time.
Yeah.
They had fouls to give.
Yeah.
So he started giving all those fouls to take time off the clock.
Yeah.
So they get it all the way down to 3.5 seconds. And you go, well, Mosley, that's just good coaching. Here's the problem. Once you don't have a foul to give anymore, and okay, the game is tied, you can't foul. You can't risk playing too aggressive and putting the game in the official's hands. So the St. John's kid, and Patino calls him Bells. What's his real name? Dylan Darling. Why does he call? Oh, where did I go?
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
It's fine. We're just looking at your notes.
I know. I looked again. Come on, Mosley. Dylan Darling. Why do they call him Bells? Because at some point this season, our buddy called him. Our buddy said he's got balls as big as church bells.
Oh, wow.
That's what Patino said. And
there you go.
So then now he calls him Bells. Okay. This is a great way to end the show. I appreciate everybody who's okay, we're just gonna live with this. Even though thank you, Landing. Thank you, Brazos Landing. I'm sure Claude and Becky are glad to see me screw around with the camera this much. Okay. Wonderful food. Oh my gosh. Kevin was over there the other day. Corey had his family over there. Mike was in there. They just got to experience the hospitality and greatness of the Brazos Landing. Thank you. Thank you, Claude and Becky Lindsay. Thank you for what you have done. By the way, thank you, Schmaltz. Got those new ads for Schmaltz looking good. One of the great sandwich shops in the country. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alan Samuels. Thank you, Patient Direct. Thank you for all our great sponsors. Now, Kev, here's what that does, though. You take all those fouls, and then El Marco Jackson, who's playing. First of all, how do you not have somebody helping down there? Darling, who had not scored the whole game. They decided to get him in ISO. I think they did a ball screen up top. Darling gets to the rim. It was a great play, and he wins the game at the buzzer. But, Kev, did you notice El Marco Jackson could not really go after him because why? You don't want the ref to call a foul at the end of the game like that. Why do you have to worry about that? Well, because, again, you don't play as hard on defense when you have no margin for error. So I don't know. I have to question a little bit that strategy. That said,
you'd say keep a foul in your pocket.
Yeah, I saw it happen in a high school game recently. Same exact thing, and they called it on a drive, and the guy goes and hits 2 free throws to win the game with like 3 or 4 seconds left. Kevin, there's not a bad coach left in like usually. Okay, let's be honest. Sweet 16, we're never bad coaches, right? Left at this point. But what I'm saying is there's some it's just up and down the line, some all-time greats. Now McCollum's going to be, I think he's headed toward that area. He's not there yet, but he's a really, really fine coach. Sean Miller, and I'm no UT lover, okay? But let's give, and UT didn't even have that great of a season. They went like 18-14. They got hammered in the SEC tournament. But what does Sean Miller do? Sean Miller goes to the Sweet 16. He goes to Elite 8. He's never been to the Final Four. But I know that's where you got to go, right? But he's 56 years old, and I like to look and go, how many Sweet 16s does a coach have that's at that age? And the answer now for him, I think, is 9. It's pretty dang good. That's pretty awesome. All right. Is he as good a coach as Kelvin Sampson? No. Izzo? No. Patino? No. But, he's put in his own right, he's done some amazing things. And I think Scott Drew is a great tournament coach. And his record suggests that. And he's won a national title. And I would never trade that in a million years. But like where Mark Few and some coaches like that, how you look at how many Sweet 16s Mark Few's been to. It's like 14, somewhere in like the 14 to 16 range. It's unbelievable. How many has Izzo been to? Izzo, it's a shocking amount. I mean, the most shocking would be like how many did Coach K go to? That's a shocking number because then you get way up there. Sweet 16s for Coach K, I think it's like 20 something. I think he went to like 26. I mean, it's like something, it's insane. But Izzo, Kevin, do you have that? Let me look real quick. Izzo's Izzo goes to a lot of Final Fours. And he only has the one national title, but still, I think the coaches that get there a ton are extremely impressive. Now, Pitino's taken several schools. Sean's now done it with 3. Pitino's done it with 4 different schools. Let's think about that. Yeah, I think so. But how many, let's see, how many Sweet 16s did Coach K have? Kevin, look up Izzo's real quick. Yeah, I was right about Coach K. Sweet 16, 26 times. God. No matter what you think about Duke or Coach K or whatever, that is just insane.
Izzo is 17 to the
Wow.
Sweet 16.
Wow. I mean, it's awesome. How many different schools has Sampson taken to a Sweet 16? Well, OU, U of H. Did he get Indiana to one? I don't know. I'm just trying to think back to where all he's been.
Don't even care.
Oh, you're still mad at him for something?
Yes.
I don't know. Y'all may have not known it, but you chased a man off for making, too many text messages or something. That wasn't that quaint. Back when we thought that was a big scandal. Oh my gosh, he made too many phone calls. Oh my gosh, you had too many text messages. Been enough years now. If I had to rank the coaches that are still left here, I'd go Pitino 1, Izzo 2, Sampson 3. And I could make an argument to put Sampson ahead of Izzo. I think I could make that argument. I think you have to give Pitino 1. This first time St. John's has been to the Sweet 16 since 1999. First time Iowa's been to the Sweet 16 since like a long time, man. I mean, Fran was a good coach, but they were not going to the Sweet 16 a whole lot with Fran McCaffrey. All right, it is the Mosley Show. I mean, we rolled right into that one. Tomorrow, Kevin, I can't do this because 3:30 dentist appointment tomorrow, I believe, is what we're looking at. All right. Appreciate everybody who's been a part of this. Good stuff, Kev. That was a big day. Had a great guest. Thank you to our UTSA people. Jaffer Murphy, the great kicker from UTSA. Appreciate everybody who did this with us, and we really, really enjoyed it. That has been the Matt Mosley Show. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner, overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.